Okay, friends, it's so good to see everyone in the space tonight or today, wherever you are in the world. I'm Lama Rod. I use he, him pronouns. I am being held on the ancestral lands of the Creek, Muskogee, and Cherokee people who are still here on this land, but who historically have been deeply impacted um, by settler colonizers, and so forth. And I bring you greetings, offer you greetings and support from this land, who's offering me so much support as well. And deep gratitude to Karen and with the tech hosting, and to Eric as well. What a beautiful opening. What a beautiful opening there. It's amazing what
I neglected to say that you selected the music.
I
That
did select the music, yeah, and I'll get it. I actually am going to talk about that. I did it on purpose. It's usually kind of random. But thank you for that really wonderful opening, because this is really about the practice of freedom, right? And healing is about getting free. Like you can't stay out of balance and get free, right? The healing that we're practicing in this tradition, medicine Buddha, is about coming back into balance, right? And when the collective is in such an intense shift right now, it's very hard for us to stay in balance. It's very hard for us to stay embodied, right? It's very hard for us to keep showing up to what's arising for us in our bodies and in our minds. And so this is why the profound practice of medicine Buddha, which has been passed down from generations to generations, has been so incredibly important, particularly in the Tibetan traditions of Buddhism. But knowing and understanding how medicine Buddha is reflected across every tradition of healing, right? As we talk about often, yes, medicine Buddha is this Buddha, right? We believe that he was a real person who achieved enlightenment, awakening, with the deep intention to offer healing through the work of medicine, right? It's like Tara awakened to offer healing through the embodiment of compassion, or Chenrezi, awakens to offer us healing and liberation through love, and so forth and so on, right? But this is a profound tradition. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the space. And there's nothing for you to do except just to be here. I know some of you are riding hot out of our talk on Friday with Dr. Davis, honey. Dr. Davis, she is not sitting around me, so I can call her Dr. Davis, even though that may be going against her wishes. But I have a family that I have to answer to. So my mom is like, mm-mm. We don't call our elders by their first names. But anyway, that's old school etiquette. That's old school Southern etiquette, right? But yeah, with Angela, with Prentice as well, who's very dear to me, and dear to many of us in the healing justice world as well. I know some of you are still riding from that. You want to get some more, you want me to spill some more fire, but we'll see. This is all about medicine Buddha, right? Um, yeah, the opening song, Seasons of Love from Rent, is Well With My Soul, Mahalia Jackson. And then the Freedom Song version of This Little Light of Mine, recordings from the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah, like the medicine, right? The wisdom that I've been getting, for a week now, a little under a week perhaps, is that like we know what to do right now. Like we know what to do. When I wanted to play Seasons of Love, it's for us to be reminded that love is the way forward, right? And that we have to rely on love to create, to establish, to protect the communities that are important to us. It's not about returning back and trying to fix the old shit. It's about moving forward and creating what we need to create to not just survive. I'm tired of surviving. I want to thrive. I want to thrive in a way that's sustainable and embodied and healed, where we place care at the forefront of our relationships. That's what I want for the future, right? Not to go back in time and to fix stuff, but to lean forward into something new, right? And to remember our love here. Like there's always love, right? And we may have to work really hard, and I'm committed to helping us to really embody love. I am a student of love. I am getting lessons and teachings on love every single day. I have not perfected love by any means, right? But I am devoted to love, all kinds of love, right? But mostly I'm devoted to the love that gets us free, right? The love that like gets us free. That's what love ultimately is getting free from cycles of suffering, of delusion, right? It reminds us of what we are, that we're not the trauma, that we're not the chaos, that we're not the brokenheartedness, although these are experiences, right, that arise for us as beings with consciousness and beings embodied in samsara, or the carceral state, as I call it, in New Saints, but we can show up and we can notice, we can experience these things and learn how to release them, right? But at the same time, we are not these experiences, right? So as I'm showing up to tend to my trauma, to tend to my despair, my hopelessness, at no point am I saying that this is who I am, right? This is not what I am, but this is what I am experiencing, right? And if we can get there, if by the end of our session today, if you can leave the session with a really solid I am experiencing opposed to I am, then I think we're getting somewhere, right? Like this shit is just an experience, and it is an experience that passes. Right, which of course leads me to the second song, Mahalia Jackson, right? It is well with my soul. Like this is ancestral wisdom for me. When I talk about ancestors, this is what I'm talking about. Like when shit happens, the ancestors are there singing to me, they're moving with me, they're walking with me, they're instilling this kind of courage, right? They're um they're holding me and reminding me, yeah, this is well. Right? Yeah, things are falling apart, but deep down, my soul, or we can say mind or consciousness, right, as a translation into Buddhism. But like there's something that is still. There is something that is calm and present. That's the nature of our minds, right? And so when Mahalia is singing, it is well with my soul, what she is telling me is that turn back to the nature of your mind, to that stillness from which everything arises, right? Find refuge there as the world changes, right? Take refuge within the nature of your mind itself, which is unchanging, right? And of course, we're going to talk about all of this in the next winter work session that Eric presented as well, Mahamudra, the nature of the mind, right? But it is well, right? And this is something that like I have been carrying very closely with me the past week. Like it is well. Though I struggle, it is still well with my soul, right? As my ancestors survived slavery, right, and anti-Black violence, as many of us continue to survive all kinds of forms of violence, there's still something that's deeply well, right? And to remember that, to connect with that, because that's how I struggle. That's how I'm able to keep fighting, because I'm able to tap in and out of that stillness, that wellness, um, and to remember all the people who came before me who struggled, right, in conditions that were so much more extreme than mine, right? And this moment moving forward, right, reminds me again of our third song, This Little Light of Mine, right? Adjusted, to speak to the conditions in Alabama in the 50s. Like one of the lyrics, we're gonna tell George Wallace, I'm gonna let my light shine, you know. There are people in the space who were alive back then, but you know, George Wallace, the infamous, right, governor of Alabama, who stood on the steps, University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and said that no black students would be entering. There would be no desegregation, right? You know, and how people organized against that, but that organization was about love. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. They weren't saying, you know what, this gun of mine, I'm gonna shoot you. Right? That's not what they were saying. I am going to love you instead of taking on the hate and the violence and the fascism, right, that you're embodying. Like, I am going to let myself shine, which is, we talk about this all the time in this space, right? For those of you who are new, I'm going to let my light shine. I'm going to let my love shine. I'm going to let my compassion shine. I'm going to let my care shine. I'm going to let my kindness shine. I'm going to let my sassiness shine, right? I'm going to let my sexiness shine. I'm going to let my eroticness shine, right? What do you have to let it shine? Right? You know, this is not a time where we start hiding. This is a time when we come to the forefront and say no, right? I will not succumb to the rigidity and the violence of silence, of control, of domination, right? I will not do that. And we have the tools that we need, right? You know, you keep looking to the government, like we keep looking for someone else to save us. But as our ancestor Tina Turner said, right, you know, we don't need another hero, right? You the hero, honey. Right? You're gonna have to find that light within you to become who you need to become who you need to be, not just for yourself, but for others around you, for our communities, for our collectives, right? And if many of us choose this, then we will see a kind of light and illuminance radiating, you know, an illumination like radiating into the world that begins to push back like the darkness of this fascism, this hate, right? And I have so much hope, right? Um, it reminds me that of that scene from The Wears Prada. I'm really quite fascinated how many pop culture references I'm getting in tonight. Like this is kind of notice how I'm not talking about the Matrix. You know, I just want to before I continue, I just want to celebrate how I've become like I've broken my dependency on the matrix as any form of analogy to talk about liberation, you know. So just let you know, those days are gone. I know y'all love that, right? Until the Matrix comes out with a tolerable movie again in this in the sequence, I will not be referencing, right? But you know, but we don't need another hero, right? You're the hero, right? Um, we have to become who we are right now. We have to let our light shine. Right? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. But I am hopeful, going back to this one point, I am hopeful because there's so much more happening than what we understand. And we're a part of this practice of medicine Buddha is how we lean into what feels unseen and what feels unknowable. Like we're tapping in to forces, to portals, to streams of light and healing, right? And really allowing these streams of energy to move through the world, to come into the density of this world and to be translated, radiated out into the world. So your body becomes a vessel for real liberatory healing, you know? Um, And Star Wars, yeah, I've been working with Star Wars as well. Right? Yeah, the Empire has struck back, right? And is striking back, absolutely. But the cycle of this is always that the Jedi returns, right? one could argue that the Jedi didn't go anywhere. The Jedi was waiting for their time. Like, and this is also about cycles here, because we, like, sometimes we just have to be patient for the cycle to come back around, right? It's not always time to fight, right? Sometimes it is time to just kind of like hide, to take refuge, because you don't have what you need yet. And we're not here to be martyrs, right? We're not here to be martyrs. We're here to get free mindfully and demurely. Right. You see how I did that? You know? And sometimes liberation is about the practice of patience. Right? It's about waiting until maybe you get the training, the resources that you need to do the real work. Because liberation struggle can easily reproduce systems of violence, right? One system of harm can be replaced by another system of harm, regardless of the intention of the founding of that system, right? And oppressed people, one of the easiest things for an oppressed people to learn how to do is to become the oppressor, right? Which is what we're seeing in Israel, right? Which is what we talked about on Friday, right? So love has to disrupt the ways in which violence conditions us to become violent, right? Love has to disrupt it. And this is why the civil rights movement was so important for all of us in this country, maybe in the world, but for my ancestors, for my family, right? Like, love is what intervened and kept us from choosing violence that was not liberatory, right? That it kept us from falling into the hate and the trauma. We have to hold on to that, right? The love essentially that says everyone deserves to be free. And you don't have to like anyone for that to happen. Like, I don't have to like Donald Trump for me to want him to be free. He needs to be fucking free. Right? Right? Keeping liberation from people is not, it cannot be weaponized. We can't withhold liberation from people thinking that that's how we get back at people. Right? That's how we punish people. This incarceration. Right? Letting people do what they want, or just like saying, you know what, you don't get to be your most authentic self. And by the way, your most authentic self is not violence, right? When I say authentic self, I mean my most authentic self that is actually free from the ways in which I am grasping and clinging or pushing things away that creates a tension in which I react to, that becomes an expression of violence for myself and for others. To transcend all of that, our most authentic self is transcending this kind of intense duality, to be able to hold space for all extremes and to be able to choose what is caring, liberatory, creative, and healing, right? Our most authentic self is nothing but an expression of healing, creativity, fluidity, stillness, right? So I know that, like, we need hope, right? Um, And for me, my hope has come from, again, many sources, my ancestors, but my hope also comes from the practice as well, right? I don't feel hopeless. And I talked about this on Friday, right? I don't feel hopeless because I have, at this point in my practice, realized that I'm much more. I am much more than this moment, you know, right? I am much more than we are, much more than this moment. We're much more than the pain. We're much more than our histories. And believe me, we are much more than these identities. And if an identity is not helping you to get free, it's time to let it die. It's time to put it into the flame, put it into the fire, let the sacred fire burn it, transform it into something that is liberatory. Right now, I know some of you didn't come here for a sermon, but like since my name is at the top of the show, then like you should always be prepared for one. You should always be prepared for a sermon. You should also be prepared for me. If we were in person, I'll be passing around a collection plate, because the revolution must be funded. Uh, so let's begin. Let's move into our practice. As always, we're going to begin our practice, take a break, to offer prayers, and then come back and finish the last part of our practice, and we'll be done on time today as well. Um, so take some time as we're setting up to finish your prayer requests on the Google Doc, to also just find a position for your body that feels sustainable for practice. I always suggest if you're at home, lie down, honey. Some of y'all are tired, right? And to my Black women and Black femmes, like, listen, I'm in solidarity. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break, right? And so getting ready, and we're gonna, call in the land, um, as well. And so as we're preparing, and just starting at the top, right? And just starting with your intention for practice. Yes, we're entering into this profound practice of medicine Buddha. And what every Buddha, regardless of their specification in the pantheon, is about offering liberation through their own unique aspirations. So we enter into relationship with medicine Buddha. We're praying for healing for ourselves, healing for our collective. And we're doing this only because we want everyone to be free, to get free. This is the only intention that I can tolerate if you practice with me. That I am practicing, even if it's mindfulness, even if it's working with the breath, even if it's a ceremony or a ritual. The ethic here is that I am practicing to get free and to get everyone free. Always collective liberation. Notice how that feels in your body when you say, I am practicing to get free and for everyone to get free. And you can push this even more outside of practice. And you can experiment with like only doing something with this intention of getting free. I'm going to walk down the sidewalk with the intention of freeing. I'm going to eat this food with the intention of freeing. Everything can be done within the alignment of this profound ethic. Everyone deserves to be free. As we often pray at the end, may I become the medicine for all beings. But in order to become the medicine for all beings, you have to first become the medicine you need. Don't think you're going to be full of bitterness and spite and pettiness and think you're going to be pouring medicine for the world, right? We call those people Republicans. Oops, I didn't mean to get political. Damn. What happened? This is a political free space, even though Medicine Buddha was very political, in the mythologies around his life. Very political, actually. One could argue that part of this practice was about disrupting totalitarian and authoritarian regimes. That's another talk for another day, though. Now, I wanted to point that last piece out about, being bitter and everything, because you can't become the medicine if you're not doing the healing work for yourself. It's not like we have to be 100% healed in order to help others, but we have to be in a journey. Like we have to be in process, right, with our healing work in order to show up for others, right? So just noticing that for some of us, it's not our time yet to show up as healers, and that's okay. It's okay. May I become the medicine eventually for all beings in the same way Medicine Buddha has become medicine for us. And so when you're ready, shifting even our attention to the seat, noticing the weight of our bodies and the seat rising to hold you. So let's actually shift our attention even lower and let's touch the land. Let's acknowledge the land, the earth. And as we connect more with the land, the earth, connecting to this awakened consciousness of the land, just like how any Buddha possesses an awakened consciousness, the same is the case for the earth, right? The land that we call the mother, right? In almost all indigenous traditions I'm familiar with, the mother, right? So connecting to the mother, the one who holds all beings equally. And this awakened consciousness, this expression of space and emptiness and fluidity, and how that all means that there is this profound expression of love that wants everything to be free. And we offer the deepest gratitude to the land, to the mother. And again, I mean, I just feel like there's so much that's distracting us. There's so much to be afraid of, to worry about. And so much of this feels very immediate right now. But in this moment, I just invite you to shift just everything, your attention to the land, to the earth, who is more than resource to hold us, to tend to us. Allowing your attention to just fall, float into this wide open, ocean-like, spacious consciousness of the land, of the earth, the mother. And even in your mind, in your imagination, I invite you to imagine that you're actually sitting on the earth or lying on the earth, right? Thinking about like your favorite places on the land, be it like the sand on a beach or, maybe like rock or like a grassy, area, something, whatever like, whatever excites you. Imagine that you're lying on that land, feeling the land rise to hold you, feeling the warmth, the care, the tenderness of the land. And as you're imagining lying with the land, we'll turn our attention to our first mantra, Min la sange kino soha. Min la sange kino soha. Innocent Buddha, please think of me. And to And we chant this to begin evoking, to awakening the energy of Medicine Buddha and the lineage of Medicine Buddha across timelines, dimensions, worlds, to enter into a kind of non-linearism, which is what mantras like this open us to, this non-linearism, which is where ultimate healing is happening. Om and La Sangye Kino Soha. We'll begin with chanting Om and then go into the mantra 3 times and then ending with an elongated chanting of the Om. Okay? We'll begin. Om. Om Razange Kino Soha. Om Razange Kino Soha. Om Sangye Kino Soa. Om. And so from our bodies, I invite you to imagine that these energetic roots, not solid roots, not physical roots, but these energetic roots begin to extend from your body and to begin to gently kind of grow down into the land that you're dwelling on and resting on. And let this extension become very gentle, very slow, very fluid. But this energetic extension through imagining roots, allowing these roots to extend into the land. And feeling this gentle, very tender kind of, I would say, intimate connection with this awakened consciousness, this freed consciousness of the land. You can imagine these roots growing really deep into the land, super deep, growing into the stillness, this kind of potent, kind of like awakened deep care of the land. That potency that lies through the trauma, the hurt that we perceive the land to be experiencing, the earth. Allowing ourselves to connect to this awakened, potent consciousness that transcends the impact of any harm. And we do this with the consent of the land. The consent has already been offered. And we're going to return back to this opening mantra, Om Mela Sangeki no Soha. And this time, as we're chanting this, we're imagining that through our root systems that we're again offering this profound gratitude to the land. Let that gratitude, the energy of this gratitude flow down through our root system into the land. Let the land be filled with its gratitude. And as the land is filled with this gratitude, we can imagine that the land awakens even more. And we're going to go right into the mantra, so we're not doing the ohms, right? But 3 times again. Here we go. Om la zange ki no so Om la zange ki no so Om la imagining the land to be awakened and vibrant and filled with our offering. The land, the earth, the mother begins to offer to us. And so as we move into the main mantra, as we begin to chant this and practice this in our own space, I invite you to imagine that the land through your energetic root system, that you begin to gently absorb the blessings, the energy, the healing of the land. Taking that energy, that blessing deep into the places we need to experience balance and restoration. Knowing that all of this is an expression of Medicine Buddha, and Medicine Buddha's deep aspiration for everything, everyone to be free through this experience of healing. So allowing yourself to receive what you most need from the land and from the blessings of Medicine Buddha. And we begin. O te Adam begenze ma begenze razunga des oa te anda 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 begenze ma begenze razunga des oa te ata begenze ma begenze razunga des oa te anda 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 begenze ma begenze razunga des oa 수문 같아 쏘아 대한다운 백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 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 수문 수문가 제소와 제한다 온비근세 비근세 마비근세 라스 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 수문가 제소와. So I'm just shifting my attention to the prayer requests. And again, as always, we invite into the space all of our sources of refuge, all the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Yedams, the Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all spirits who are connected, concerned, working towards liberation of all beings, any being in the universe across dimensions and timelines who want us to be free. We call you into the space and we offer these prayers to you to help to work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers. And we offer prayers for my brother who is in a nursing home and troubled in both body and spirit, offering prayers for all those who've asked me for prayers, offering prayers for me for the strength to work with inmate students to be fair and reflect what I'm doing here with this work. I am in the belly of the beast and I need your prayers. We offer these prayers, offering prayers for my brother Patrick, who is moving through stages of cancer. May he find his own work and peace in doing it. Offering prayers for all beings in all realms and timelines to experience the end of carcerality and to be free ASAP. Offering prayers for the carriers of the teachings of Dharma, like Lama Rod, and everyone practicing to be safe and to be well resourced in this realm. Prayers for me that I remember I am protected whenever I experience daily forms of violence. Prayers for what I could do to help that comes naturally to me, that becomes a part of my work, honey, that helps get me resource. Prayers that this brown queer body of mine takes up lots of space while keeping the younger ones under my wings in the path towards liberation. Offering prayers for those who have been, still doing, used to, want to, need to organize towards true accountability, collective liberation, and community care. May our egos not overbear and self-righteously, but in abundance and in love of humility, grace, and appreciation towards each other. And make sure we direct our righteous rage towards ending white and Christian supremacy and to help us all collectively thrive and sustain ourselves. Offering prayers for me and many others to experience healing and support from chronic illness, the job search, severe financial hardship, and trying to foster healthy community care. Prayers for centering my own experience of divinity rather than looking for confirmation from others. Offering prayers that I may surrender more fully to divinity. May I cultivate safety and ease in times of uncertainty. Hashtag Miss Brenda for and peace healing prayers that the air quality in this haunted old building improves or I become desensitized and can maneuver regardless. Offering prayers that for may all of us, all of Joni, Sarah's, Roxy's, and dreams comes true. May I become the medicine for all those around me and for myself. May all in the Sangha be deeply protected and filled as such, offering prayers for centering my heart and my intentions and for the strength to act in kindness and in bravery, for the betterment of myself and for the protection and enrichment of others, offering prayers that I may become the kind arrow that strikes true at the heart of hate and opens the way to change. Prayers for myself and my daughter through upcoming big changes and loss. May we both easily find our way to our best possible outcomes and be our best selves in doing so. Offering prayers, may the beauty and goodness of this world be protected. Offering prayers for Walter Marasa Sensei, who, as he moves through the bardo after 82 years in this earthly form, may he receive what he has given tenfold in lives beyond. Prayers for my anger, rage, and dissatisfaction, that they may bring me back to the Dharma and truth of liberation. Prayers for all of my beloveds. Offering prayers that this code be transmuted for the liberation of all beings. May all travelers to the International Two-Spirit Gathering this week be safe and safe while we're all in Oklahoma. Offering prayers that I may give up colonialist ways of being, doing, seeing, acting in service of freedom. Offering prayers for everyone at the shelter, staff and residents. Prayers for Lana's family in Lebanon. Offering prayers for Lindsay and her dad's journey through the bardo. Offering prayers for ease and peace for all those suffering from fear right now. Prayers for liberation of exhaustion. Prayers for trans people. Prayers for that we all be supported and held in our grief and brokenheartedness. May all the new saints remember who we are not, that we are, and may all the new saints remember who we are, and let our light shine in the darkness, and let's continue our work remembering we are born for this time. Offering prayers for peace and healing for Kamala Harris, Tim Waltz and their families. Prayers of peace and light for Dr. Watson and her family. Prayers for hope and faith as I continue the process of healing and being present. Prayers for our earth, and may we help our planet all we can during these challenging times. Prayers that I can bring my inflammation level down so I can teach tomorrow and this year. Prayers for radical healing. Offering prayers for me to stay fiercely kind. Prayers for my elderly mom and recovering fully from COVID. Prayers for the school teachers. Offering prayers for my healing from a stem cell transplant. And prayers for M and R. May they know healing and freedom. Offering prayers for steadiness, support, and strength for all who seek liberation. May this be a season of collective awakening. May our practice be a balm for collective healing. Offering prayers for the safety of trans queer people. May they be safe and may they feel safe and held in community. Offering prayers for protectors, ancestors, guides, benefactors, yodams, jalas, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, for deep healing for our Sangha, the country, the world, to everyone without exception. I guess even including those who seek to subjugate and oppress us. Awakenment for all, so all we are free as soon as possible. Offering prayers for all the transgender youth and adults in the U.S. who are fearful for their lives. May they feel our loving kindness and fierce compassion. Offering prayers for my son and his attorney. May she find compassion and confidence to represent him with confidence, truth, and may they all and all parties involved find common ground to help facilitate a speedy and safe release from jail after 3 years of suffering. Offering prayers for my 21-year-old son to feel confident in himself and face the challenges in his life instead of running to substances, and prayers for all of our youth that they find their way and be free from addiction. Offering prayers for my arthritis, which is worsening, and prayers for my suffering to be brief as I understand what it means to love myself enough to not bring on suffering. I need to heal in my heart and soul from the past. My present is beautiful, and I'm so ready to let go of the past. Offering prayers that we choose to engage in wise understanding. We see change needs to happen, and that compassion for ourselves and our oppressors builds resilience where hate depletes. Wise understanding, wise rage, righteous anger, may it be so. Offering prayers that I can stay healthy and clear about what that means so that I can relax into my own embodiment, do the work I need to do for myself and everyone around me. Prayers that I get quick appointment for an endometrial biopsy and may it be negative, which the doctor says is the usual case. Prayers that I can learn more about deep self-care in order for my nervous system to get out of sympathetic mode and actually rest, to stay in love, be supported by love, offer love, and be real. Prayers for Ian and all the youth on their way to Manzanas, Cuba. May they stay well, offer the work that's needed, and learn deeply from the process and return safely. Offering prayers for my daughter and her generation, prayers that I may teach my daughter about love, mutual aid, community, collective care, and liberation. Offering prayers for hate supporters to understand what hurts, what hate is, find love to be free from fear. Prayers for people with power to understand their impact. Prayers for every being to feel safe, loved, accepted, and at home. Offering prayers for our freedom, prayers for our beloved. May their hearts continue to open and may they be safe and protected. May they find deep ease and may they be free. Prayers that I find a path that is aligned and with protective and easeful abundance. Prayers for my dear friend Parker. May he know with confidence that he is free and that his grief will not destroy him. May we all have all the courage to see and know each other in ways we never have before, and we continue to pray for the complete abolishment of all systems of violence and harm, that we all remember our innate awakened nature, that we have everything that we need as we move forward into this period, and whatever we feel as if we don't need, may it abundantly be resourced to us. May we find deep healing and liberation in the community, and may we all get free now. May it always be so. And turning back to our prayers. And as we enter back into our prayers, just know that we're gonna go just a little longer tonight, about another 15 minutes or so, all right? As we turn back into our prayers, yes, we continue to receive this nourishment from the earth. But when you feel nourished, when you feel super resourced, or if you feel super resourced, I invite you to begin to offer this healing energy to all others in your life right now, as if you're just radiating this healing light energy into the lives and the experiences of others. And as you radiate that energy, making sure that you're staying resourced and filled through the offering of the earth at the same time. So we're not emptying out to help others, but we're just radiating what is naturally abundant from within our own experience. All right? So we continue. O te anda begenze begenze ma begenze rasa sumunga te soha te anda begenze begenze ma begenze rasa sumunga te soha te anda begenze begenze ma begenze Rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze begenze ma begenze rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze begenze ma begenze rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze begenze ma begenze Rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze begenze ma begenze Rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze begenze ma begenze Rasa sumunga zoa te anda begenze 라스 숨은 가래 소아 대야다 온비근세 비근세 마비근세 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 라스 숨은 가래 소아 대야다 온비근세 마백은세 라스 수문갑제 소아 제안다 옴백은세 백은세 마백은세 라사 수문갑제 소아. And we thank the earth, the land, the mother for deeply nurturing us. We imagine that these energetic, these psychic roots extending from our body begin to retract back up into our bodies. We feel the land, the earth that we're lying and resting on slowly dissolve into light, feeling even our bodies, imagining our bodies dissolving into light. And how this light, all of this light dissolves into emptiness. And we find our awareness just resting within this unlimited, boundless expanse of emptiness and space. Just resting, holding everything, and just resting. And so slowly we begin to re-arise back in our bodies, connecting to the weight of our bodies, the seats under us rising to hold us. Beginning to reawaken our bodies through this very simple, slow movement, through deep cleansing breaths. When you feel ready, we turn our attention to the chat box. And we'll recite this 3 times together. All right. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. And just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, May I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. All right. Thank you all so much. I want to thank especially again, I say this all the time, but I'm deeply moved that you fuck with me. As we say on the streets where I'm from, honey. Like you don't have to fuck with me, but you do, right? And so thank you so much for not just for you hanging, but I thank you for your practice right now because this is hard shit to keep saying yes. And I really need you all to just to keep saying yes. I know this is hard to ride, but we're riding it together. Right? You're not alone riding these waves, right? We have to keep showing up and saying yes to the medicine, right? This is quite honestly what so many people have been praying for. You've been praying for this. Our ancestors have been praying for this. Yeah, it doesn't look like what we thought it was going to look like. It doesn't look like a parade, and an ice cream party and rainbows and just like it doesn't look like the ending scenes of the Return of the Jedi. Right? Like I get that, but this is what liberation struggle is. Like you have to understand what you're choosing to do now is the struggle, right? And it feels isolating. It feels like you're alone in doing it, but that's what it is. That's what it's going to feel like. You have to choose liberation now by saying yes to what's arising and choosing to show up and to metabolize, to consume everything through deep tenderness and awareness, and then making a choice about what you need to change from that. Right? This isn't glamorous. This isn't sexy. There's not a movie about this, at least to my knowledge, right? But I'm talking about particularly the inner work of liberation, not the collective outward struggle, which we all know what that looks like, right? But I'm talking about the inner saying yes to what it means to get free from the hate, from the violence, from the misogyny, from all the ableism, like from all of it, right? And this is work that I am in with you. Like I'm in this fully, completely, right? And I'm not going to give up, right? I will give my life to this, right? And I'm not saying that you should too. I'm just saying that I've made that choice for myself, right? So, in the way that all of the elders, all of the ancestors have before in every great movement struggle from Stonewall to the civil rights movement, to Black Power movement, to the Chicano civil rights movement, to the indigenous land back community, like as many movements as I can think of right now, right? Like like this is what the work looks like. And so if you're waiting for the movement to happen, like the movement is happening. If you haven't said yes yet, then you're behind. You're not in the movement, right? So I'm gonna be showing up even more in the coming months. We're gonna be doing some survey work as well, because we do love a survey on this team. When in doubt, you
We
can
are
use.
generous with the surveys, aren't we?
Just like remember, I know some surveys are still out, if you're in a particular course with me right now. So we love a survey, and so you may be getting a survey about like what you want to see from me and from the team because I'm organizing as well, right? I'm not resisting. I don't for fuck of resistance, honey. I'm tired of resisting, right? I'm just gonna just create. I'm just gonna do what I need to do. I'm just gonna create what needs to be created, right? I'm not here to build bridges, with people who want to annihilate me. I'm trying to bring about the new world, and that's what we're doing now. And use all these astrological like shifts. Use it. Don't let it. Don't. It can be a source of suffering. I know, because these fucking transits lay me out every time, right? But like today is a day 11/11. That's about fruition and abundance, and will be for the next couple of days. So use this. Make your wishes. Make your aspirations. Don't waste this space. Let's open up, right? Say your prayers. Do the practices. Like this is the foundation we need to bring about what we need to see, right? And don't get lost in the hopelessness, right? Like don't get lost in the despair, right? Don't get lost in trying to argue with everyone, right? Stay clear. Keep your eyes stayed on freedom. you know, keep your eyes, keep your heart, keep everything, keep focused on freedom, right? So anyway, that's it, y'all. Thank you so much. I'll see you in some other space at some point, in person or on these Zoom streets. Okay, be well, everyone, and take care of others and protect each other. Right now, protect one another. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone.